a team of Syrian special forces, some of the government officials, undoubtedly the government, they have patches of ISIS and Al-Qaeda on them along with the uniform, leading them into the hospital behind Druze lines, taking them there to slaughter all the doctors. Now, why would the government wanna kill, disable, and slaughter all the doctors in Suida? Meanwhile, they're sieging at them and trying to kill them and kidnap their children. That's a very good question. Not only that, they even brought a tank. The video we're about to see is exposing the true nature of the Syrian regime of Ahmad al-Shara and all of the Sunnah in Syria. Have no doubt, if you had any doubt about Syria after this video, you will have no more doubts. It's a very hard video to watch. I'm warning you right now. I've did my best to blur some of the images, but it shows the execution of a doctor in a hospital in Suida by the government and their secret service guy, the Syrian FBI, who's walking around there with something in his hand and is basically showing them where to go and who to kill. Crazy video, I'm warning you, but it's extremely important that we share that with the world so they stop lying to you. Your leaders are lying to you, mainstream media is lying to you, and it's about time that we expose them.
A hospital, a place meant for healing and saving lives. Today, in Suida, it became a battlefield. Armed forces from the Syrian regime's general security stormed its halls, turning the sanctuary of doctors and patients into a war zone. Shots were fired, not at soldiers, not at armed men, but at unarmed doctors, nurses, and the sick. If there was ever any doubt, let it be gone. This is not a government. This is a regime of terror. One that kills the healers and desecrates the places of mercy. The world must see. The world must act.
Meanwhile, Hamas keeps claiming that Israel is massacring doctors in Gaza. There's not even a single proof. Mainstream media is just singing about it. But now we have an official video with a timestamp, with the location, with eyewitnesses that actually survived, coming and saying this is what happened. In one of my live videos, I talked to Dr. Lujain, a Druze doctor from El Suida, who shared that story with us before we saw the video. So there's so many evidence, but mainstream media is ignoring it. And meanwhile, your leaders keep telling you that, Syria is a good country. We should lift up sanctions from them. Ahmed al-Shara is a great guy. Macron goes and hugs him. Donald Trump calls him a very tough guy, a very impressive guy. Something very sinister is happening, and I'm going to try to explain to you, to the best of my knowledge, what I think is happening behind the scene. But meanwhile, let's focus for a second on this secret service guy for the Syrian regime. You see, in this video, we can see him walking, running in the street outside of a hospital. How would you know it's a hospital? You see ambulances outside there. And the next images will even show you more. So he's calling the soldiers because he knows the area. So he's leading a team of Syrian special forces, some of the government officials, undoubtedly the government, they have patches of ISIS and Al-Qaeda on them along with the uniform, leading them into the hospital behind Druze lines and taking them there to slaughter all the doctors. Now, why would the government wanna kill, disable, and slaughter all the doctors in Suida? Meanwhile, they're sieging at them and trying to kill them and kidnap their children. That's a very good question. Not only that, they even brought a tank to stand outside there with his, back to the wall to make it harder for RPGs to come and hit him and covering. Now here in this video, we see him pointing for them, telling them where to go. He's even telling them where the cameras are so they can go around and delete and destroy the cameras so people will not see what's happening. There's another video showing that. Here we see the same guy with, I think it's a cast on his hand, or maybe he's just trying to hide his fingerprints. I don't know what, but he's going there, telling them how to do. That's the guy's going around in the hospital, and now he sees that there's a camera. So what he does, he goes and he sprays the camera, trying to cover for evidence. There's a serious attempt happening in Syria where they're deliberately trying to annihilate, exterminate minorities, Christians, Alawite, Druze, Yazidis, Kurds. And doing that, one of their tactics is to cut down the internet on that region, destroy all the cameras, the evidence. They go and they kill everyone and they take their phones from them. Tell me about an ethnic cleansing without saying the word ethnic cleansing that is actually happening. Mainstream media is ignoring that. How crazy that is. It's insane. Further, you can see in this video, so these are the soldiers in the hospital. Now look, They have ISIS patches on them. They have al-Qaeda patches on them. They're not trying to even hide it. As someone who was an officer in the IDF, I can tell you for sure that any normal country with a normal army would not let the soldiers even put patches of other countries, even allies usually, let alone a terrorist organization or an enemy country. Over there, no one is telling them to take it off. They're actually boasting. They're proud of it. They're waving the flags of ISIS and al-Qaeda. So if you ever had a doubt that the Syrian regime have been taken by ISIS and al-Qaeda and that Syria have become a terrorist state that is trying to implement extreme Salafi Sharia law and exterminate all the people in Syria, remove that doubt. It's happening in front of our eyes. Now, before I tell you the reasoning behind what's happening from the Syrian side, from the American side, from the European side, from the Israeli side, and even from the Druze side in Syria, let's watch this video by one of the female doctor survivor.
Around 30 members of staff, including Sama and others, were rounded up and brought here to the main foyer. Among them, IT engineer Mohammad Bousas, a close family friend of Sama. She says the armed men asked the staff what sect they were. Then one of them assaulted Mohammed, who was Druze.
ضربوا بكعب بارودي على وجهه. بهالأثناء قاوم محمد. لما قاوموا سحبوا مسدسوا ويضربوا بوكس.
So the translation here is wrong, by the way. She's saying when they grabbed him, picked him up, probably to go and executed him, they pulled the pistol and hit him on his face. And when he realized he's about to be executed, he decided to go down fighting. Now, it seems like the guy knew how to fight a little bit. Maybe he had some jiu-jitsu background. In general, I don't recommend jiu-jitsu in a street fight. Jiu-jitsu is very good on the mat, one-on-one, but when you're surrounded by a lot of people, to grab someone and roll with them on the ground is not the best idea. I'm not, disrespecting what he did there. The man was with his back to the wall and he did the most brave thing, which is try to go down fighting. But, ended up with him being shot in the face and in the chest. What a terrible fate. What a brave man. So let's keep watching.
طلقة بالوجه وطلقة بالقلب. ونحن كلنا قاعدين هون ومش قادرين نحكي أي كلمة ولا حتى أي تعبير يطلع معنا.
There are conflicting accounts of how many civilians were killed at the National Hospital over that 48 hours. When we visited, the yard outside was full of bodies, but many of these had been killed out on the streets and brought here.
There's another horrific video. And I'm talking horrific. Like, I've seen very bad videos in my life. That's one of the most horrific ones. I don't recommend watching it, and I'm not going to show you here, but it shows tens, if not more than 100 of bodies in the hospital pile up on one another, all massacred in the most gruesome way by these guys, by the way. Some of them were women that were delivering. One was a woman that was delivering a baby, and the moment that she delivered the baby, that's when they came and they killed the woman and killed the baby. And the happiest day of her life when she just gave life to this precious human being. These monsters from the Syrian government officials. I made another video where I explain actually about it and showing you who is the guy who did the killing. Maybe I'll show it in this video as well, because we found the audio recording and I did some research and I found his Facebook account. So you can see official Ministry of Defense, police officers, military officers, and they're the ones who did the killing. I mean, heck, why would you send your Secret Service as a spy behind enemy line to guide your forces, enemy lines, behind the Druze lines, to guide your forces and take them into a hospital to slaughter everyone in the hospital? Now, here comes the real question, like I said. Let's take it one by one. Why is mainstream media covering and complicit? Well, the reason is because mainstream media, if you haven't realized it until now, is not working for you. They're working for the enemy. It's about time you understand that. That's why I stopped listening to mainstream media. And it's sad to say, but you need to do your own research. You need to find proper content creators and podcasters and listen to as many sources and get a better picture of what's happening, because they are paid by Muslim money, by Arab money, to promote communist or jihadist ideology. So back to the story now. Why are the Druze choosing to release this video right now? To expose the Syrian regime for who they are. They had this video. I mean, some of them they probably just reached now, but many they had. The reason for that is because Syria is playing a dirty trick right now. In order to clean their name, Syria, the Arab money around, is trying to buy this image that the Druze are terrorists. There's clashes between Druze militia to Bedouins. So the Bedouins are even portrayed as the innocent ones. The Syrian regime is coming and saying the Druze are terrorists, the Christians are terrorists, the Alawites are terrorists, the Kurds are terrorists, the Yazidis are terrorists. Everybody All the minorities in Syria are terrorists, and the only innocent ones are the radical Islam, which is ISIS, Al-Qaeda, and in general, major population of Syria is going along with that. There is peaceful people in Syria. They talk to me, but they're too afraid to share their mind. The free people of Syria don't dare. Many of them are actually ex-Muslims now. They don't dare. They start ripping down posters of Metallica and Nirvana in their houses. They were told to cut their hair. Men are not allowed to have men bun. Women are not allowed to go to school with men. It's becoming Afghanistan. So Western media is being paid to swallow that pill and turn a blind eye. And the Druze now notice something very sinister. There is several Druze, Laith al-Bal'ous and his gang, basically, that are being paid and sponsored by the Syrian regime, and they want to send them to the UN to speak on behalf of a Syrian regime. You know, they're going to tell them what to say and make the Druze in Suida that are resisting, the majority of the Druze in the world, basically, to make them look as the terrorists. Now, the Druze have seen that, and let's say these guys are like they're basically the traitors among the Druze. They're like the Judenrat, the Robert the Bruce of the Druze. And the Druze realize we can't allow this to happen. These guys don't represent us. So they started this campaign to expose them, to expose Laith Barous and his gang, and to expose the true identity of the Syrian regime.